the partner was then thinking, right, I don't want him to think, I don't want me to think that her partner was a total, you know, no fun
Mm.
guy. Let's put it that way. And she said, "Oh, you used to like you used to like drawing, didn't you? You used to draw all these, you know." I said, "Wow, okay." I said, "Oh," I said, he said, "Yeah, I don't do it anymore."
What does he do? What does he do these days?
So he said, "Well, no, I don't do it anymore." And I thought, right. I thought, so you don't like sports, you don't like music, not even listening to it. You don't like creative writing. I said, there was got to be one thing at least, one thing. Give me something here. Give me something. And he said to me, he said, "Well, I do coding."
He does
Um,
what?
he does
Say
coding,
again? Oh,
coding.
coding.
Yeah, so this computer language
Mm.
thing, C++, Python, and all that. And I thought, oh, I hope everybody that does this coding thing and not like
Yeah.
like this guy. But I know straight away. I started creating a profile
Mm.
of him in my head, and I thought, right, okay, so because I remember when I was building these websites, because I did it all by myself, and I thought, oof, I thought I couldn't even catch a break.
Mm.
So something was always going wrong, and I'm like, oh, I've got to go back and do this now. And then sometimes I'd leave it, go to sleep, and that's all I had in my mind. And I thought, I'm gonna wake up the next morning, and I'm gonna try and sort this thing out. And that's all I had in my head. I could not
Mm.
do anything else. And I remember my cousin in London. He had the same thing, and his wife was just complaining to me and saying, you know, he does nothing but this computer. He just sits there all day, and and I thought, oh my day. So I said to him, I said, it must be really time consuming what you do. He said, yeah. I said, you have time for anything else? He said, yeah. I said, what is it? Walking the dog. I thought, all right. I thought, yeah, all
Oh,
right.
that's good.
I'll
Walking.
send you walking the dog once. I thought,
Yeah.
and so just going back to the point that you made about, you know, don't standing on the shoulders of giants, and I thought, well, yeah, I do feel like whatever you do now comes from somewhere. There's either a direct inspiration
Mm.
or an indirect one. Somebody could say something, you go, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but
Mm.
somebody's done it before. That's the fact. The fact is somebody has done it in one form or the other. I remember electric cars, and I was like, wow,
Mm.
what a great innovation of human, ingenuity. And then I saw something years and years ago, oh, the first electric car, and I thought, it's been around for ages.
Yeah,
So
well, that's true. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's always been there. I mean, people might
Mm.
have failed at at their attempts to, because obviously, let's face it, we have a very limited lifespan, don't we? We only live up to a certain age. So whatever you do up to that age, where your body
Mm.
starts getting weak, and weak, and you start feeling, you don't have physically, you don't have the energy to do it. And that thing kind of dies with you in a way. If you haven't produced
Mm.
a prototype that somebody else can understand, then you're taking that knowledge to the grave. Essentially, that's it. It dies there. And that's why I like the age that we live in, which is the internet age, where
Mm,
people would post things on the internet,
yeah.
and other peoples will pick up on it and carry on from where they stopped, and people working together to create something. I mean, before the internet, you'd have to look at your immediate environment, wouldn't you, to find somebody that shares a similar interest. But
Mm,
nowadays, you could go on the internet and somebody in America or even in Asia could say, "Well, I have the same mindset as you. Can we work together in some capacity, in some form?" Then it gives that project a sort of a longevity, don't it?
yeah.
Now, going back to music, using music as an example, when I was actively writing music, actively, I used to try not to listen to other people's music or what was popular on the radio because it sort of influenced your writing process. Because you've heard it, you've listened to it, you now sit down and you're trying to create something original. But because you have sort of like a sample or a prototype of a sound in your head, you sort of, in a way, gravitate towards what your memory is stored, what was stored in your memory. And as such, that's why you have similar sounding projects nowadays, where and then people will take something that somebody's already made and maybe increase the tempo or decrease the tempo or do it in a different style. So, for instance, somebody could take a hip hop music or a country music and make it into hip hop or even to rock. It depends. It all depends on how fast the beats you can make the beat go. So yeah, you are sort of tapping from what's already there. There's nothing that is new. So nobody's created anything in the last, we could even extend it to the last 25, 50 years. Nobody is created anything that is, that stood out as being new.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers what
Well, it
you.
does, yeah. And I think you touched on a number of things that very little in life is not well.